وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا. We covered the story of Fatima radiallahu anha, the youngest child of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We came all the way until they got married, Ali and Fatima radiallahu anhuma. After they got married, the Prophet ﷺ, this hadith is mentioned in many books of hadith that is mentioned here. قضى رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم على ابنته فاطمة بخدمة البيت وقضى علي بما كان خارج البيت. The Prophet ﷺ, he separated the responsibilities on both ends. He told his daughter to take care of the affairs of the home, all the cooking and cleaning, etc. And he told Ali that you have to take care of all the things outside of the house. This is the Fatimi method that the Prophet ﷺ prescribed, this method for the family. There's a mention of his mother, who was also Fatima bint Asad. She and along her, Ali's other siblings, they all accepted Islam. We talked about that when we mentioned about the uncles of the grandchildren of the Prophet ﷺ. She was living with the couple, and this mother-in-law and the daughter-in-law both also distributed the house chores. And for example, the making the dough. First of all, you have to grind the wheat and then clean it out and then make the dough and then cook the bread and then you have a meal. So they divided the household activities among themselves. That's also mentioned in the hadith, what exactly each one would do. However, the Prophet ﷺ prescribed these two. So Fatima radiallahu anha, as we mentioned last night in the story that she came to the Prophet ﷺ asking for help, it never got better. Their situation never got any better. They always were struggling. The Prophet ﷺ, once he was asked from some of the companions that Banu Hashim wants to have Ali marry a second wife. Banu Hashim ibn al-Mughira. So they came to Ali, and then the Ali radiallahu anhu also came and asked the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said in a very profound way, "Inni lastu uharrimu haraman, wala inni lastu uharrimu halalan, wala uhallilu haraman." That I do not make anything impermissible, and I will not make anything impermissible permissible. It is permissible for him to marry a second, up to 4. But he is also a father. He said, وَلَكِنْ وَاللَّهِ لَا تَجْمَعُ بِنْتُ رَسُولِ اللَّهِ صَلَى اللَّهِ عَلَيْهِ وسلم وَبِنْتُ عَدُوِّ اللَّهِ. But a daughter of a prophet cannot be together in the same house with the daughter of the enemy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that was the daughter of Abu Jahl. It happened more than once. Another occasion also, the same thing happened, and the Prophet ﷺ said that Fatima radiallahu anha, she at this time came to the Prophet ﷺ and he said that, Ali is planning and people are kind of encouraging him to get married again. So she came and complained to the Prophet ﷺ. The Prophet ﷺ said, إِنَّمَا فَاطِمَةُ بِضْعَةٌ مِّنِّي يُرِيبُنِي مَا رَابَهَا وَيُؤْذِينِي مَا آذَاهَا. That Fatima, it's a part of me. She's part of me. And anything that makes her happy makes me happy. Anything that makes her unhappy makes me unhappy. She came and told Ali radiallahu anhu. Ali radiallahu anhu said, I will never get married again. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, from this story, you may think that maybe they didn't have a good relationship. The Prophet ﷺ once came and he saw both of them back and forth, arguing on something. When the Prophet ﷺ came in and he asked, what you were guys doing? What were we talking about? Why are you arguing? So Fatima says that, I was arguing with Ali that, does the Prophet love me more or you? So it was a bond that they had. The Prophet ﷺ said that, you are a portion of me, but Ali is more noble to me. A'azzu alayya. He kind of balanced it out. I do have that affection, that love with you, because you are part of me. You're not anything separate. But you are my cousin, right? You're not my son, but you are so close to me that you are so noble to me. You are more noble than Fatima to me. So that's how the Prophet ﷺ responded. There was a dua that I mentioned yesterday, the dhikr, the tasbihat, the Fatima that I mentioned, and I said there's another dua. The Prophet ﷺ said to Fatima, Ya Fatima, ما لي لا أسمعك بالغداة والعشي تقولين يا حي يا قيوم برحمتك أستغيث أصلح لي شأني كله ولا تكلني إلى نفسي طرفة عين. That, oh Fatima, why I don't hear you say this dua in the morning and in the evening, that you say Ya Hayyu Ya Qayyum till the end of the dua. That the living, by your mercy, I seek your help, and fix all of my affairs, and don't give me to my lower self, to my nafs, even for a blink of an eye. So this dua, the Prophet ﷺ told Fatima radiallahu anha to say it once in the morning, once in the evening. Let's say it together. Ya Hayyu Ya Qayyum برحمتك أستغيث أصلح لي شأني كله ولا تكلني إلى نفسي طرفة عين. So that was a dua that the Prophet ﷺ taught her. It's a very interesting dua. Once Bilal radiallahu anhu came late for the prayer, and the Prophet ﷺ said, because he's the mu'adhin, he's calling for the prayer, he should be on time, and that's one of the benefits of being the mu'adhin, that you're always on time, you're in the first row, and so on and so forth. He came late, and the Prophet ﷺ asked him why you were late. He says, I passed by the house of Fatima. The house of Fatima is right behind the hujr of Aisha, which means is behind the hujra sharifa, where the Prophet ﷺ is buried, all the way to the back. So he would come out and come to the front to the minbar. He said, I passed by the house and I saw Fatima. She's making the dough, and Hassan and Hussein are sitting around just crying, perhaps maybe out of hunger or just frustrated, or whatever reason they were crying. So Bilal radiallahu anhu says, I said to Fatima that if you wish, I could take care of the flour and the dough, and I take care of that part, and you take care of the kids. And if you want to, I could take care of the kids, and you continue what you're doing. So Fatima, she's the mother. She said, Ana arfaqu bi ibni minka. I am more rifq is like politeness, more connecting, more nice and good to a child. So I am a mother, I am better to my child than you. So then Bilal radiallahu anhu said, I was taking care of the flour and dough. The assumption that perhaps maybe Ali radiallahu anhu was only doing the duties outside the house. The Prophet ﷺ, he himself would always كان في خدمة أهلي. One of the characteristics that he would, when he used to go home, he was not a person that will be served. He will also serve his family and help in certain things. Ali radiallahu anhu was the same. Once he came home and he saw everybody's hungry, there's no food, the kids are hungry. So he said to Fatima, why don't you take a break? You rest, and I will take the kids because they're now frustrated and they're crying, they're getting cranky. So I will take care of the kids. He took both of the kids and went. As he left, the Prophet ﷺ came in and he said, where is everybody? She said, this is what happened. The Prophet ﷺ went and he went and he found Ali radiallahu anhu sitting next to a little pile of dates, old dates, cheap dates, and he had Hassan and Hussein nearby him trying to control the kids and also collecting the dates. The Prophet ﷺ came and he said, "What are you doing?" He said, "We have nothing, and I'm kind of working here, and I'm gonna take a few dates so I can feed myself and the family." The Prophet ﷺ came and he sat down next to Ali, and also he put his shirt out, and also he started collecting the dates for the family. And then they went back to Fatima radiallahu anha. Allahu Akbar. So there's a hadith that I would like to mention, and we'll close inshallah. Tabarani narrates this hadith that once Fatima radiallahu anha brought Hassan and Hussein to the Prophet ﷺ, and this was the last moments of the Prophet, his life, he said, "O Prophet of Allah, are you going to give something as an inheritance to your grandchildren? هذان ابناك فورثهما شيئا قال أما الحسن فله هيبتي وسودتي." Hassan has my greatness and my honest and leadership. He inherited that from me. And Hussein فله جودي وجراءتي. He has my generosity and jur'a. It's like bravery. Yeah, but jur'a is a little different than bravery, that you are able to do things. But then he said, فَإِنِ ابْتُلِيتُمْ فَاصْبِرُوا. If things go south and you're afflicted, then just have patience. فَإِنَّ الْعَاقِبَةَ لِلْمُتَّقِينَ. In the end of the day, the best ending is for the people who have taqwa. That's the advice that the Prophet ﷺ gave to his children. She died, I mentioned that in the beginning, that she died 6 months after the Prophet ﷺ, and she was very grieved after the Prophet ﷺ passed away. She hardly spoke, she hardly did anything, she was very quiet after that. But she also knew that, because the Prophet ﷺ gave her this prophecy, that she is going to be the first one from his family to meet him in the next life. So she died 6 months after that. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala enable us to love the Ahlul Bayt, the family of the Prophet ﷺ. There's a quote from one of the scholars, I believe is Abdullah Mubarak rahimahullah. He said, a person cannot be a munafiq if he loves the wives of the Prophet ﷺ, and he loves the family of the Prophet ﷺ, and he loves in general the companions of the Prophet ﷺ. If a person has these three loves in his heart, that he loves them, it's part of iman, it's part of faith, and that person he will never die as a munafiq. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala increase us in the Allahumma salli wa sallim ala Sayyidina Muhammadin wa alihi wa sahbihi wa sallim taslima. Inshallah, our next sessions will continue with the wives of the Prophet ﷺ. Inshallah, starting with Khadija radiallahu anha.